Hey, hi, hello. Welcome to Chaos and Cats.
Woo.
I'm Kaylee.
And I'm Laura.
Welcome back to another episode of What the Fuck is Even Happening Right Now?
That's the true name of our podcast. Okay?
What the fuck is even happening in this shit right now?
Unfortunately, it was just too long, but that's what it means.
Yeah. Essentially, yeah.
That's how we like it, alright?
No. Well, how you been, Laura?
Oh, I always forget that question is gonna be popping up on our podcast, because, God, I got nothing happening in my life. I mean,
you don't gotta tell us that something's happening. You can just be like, yeah, I've been good, not much has happened. There doesn't always have to be something.
I've been...
Have you been good? Have you been bad? Have you been okay?
I've been okay. I mean, I've been a little better. Today was like 35 degrees outside as opposed to the 9 degrees.
It is a little bit warmer today.
Cool
I've heard next week it's supposed to get up to like 40s.
Oh, my depression, I can feel it melting away already.
I know! Though, I am... Okay, so here's the thing. I am slightly excited about the bit of snow dump we got. Now, I did not need as much snow as we were given.
I just need it in one round because I don't want to have to snow blow 6 times.
I needed a decent layer,
yes.
Okay? Because there's this photo idea I've always wanted to do, okay? And... I have the dress for it. It took me years to find the dress that was in my mind for it. I finally found it. And now the problem is the photographer that I was going to work with, he hasn't really been doing much photography. And we haven't really planned anything. So my biggest thing was I didn't have like a nice...
Which ghost or cat was that?
Cat, hold on. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Did you eat your bone, girlfriend? Was it delicious? Did it make you the happiest puppy?
Stop it! I don't know. She was getting into cabinets. I don't know. Anyways. So, I always wanted, like, this nice... I always wanted it to be in the, like, kind of have a snow effect. I wanted snow. I might do some where it's, like, in the spring or fall or something, too. But I wanted, like, the dead. I wanted dead nature around me, you know? And because, like, the idea is it's, like, this black sheer dress and then this, like, mask you can't see through. I mean, you can, but you can't, like, see the eyes. It's like a blind mask. Mm-hmm. And, I want to get some body paint and stuff and, like, paint my hands, like, black up my arms. And then maybe do my feet, too, and be barefoot in the snow. Which is gonna be fucking cold, and I'm aware of this. I'm like, this is gonna suck, but...
It's a vision.
In my mind, it's just great.
It's giving a little bit of 21 Pilots with the black.
And I'm like, listen, I actually have that imagery I need in my backyard now. I have it literally in my backyard. And I was like, I could totally make this work. And then we got dumped on with a shit ton of snow. And I was like, oh my god, that's great. And then we got even more snow. And I'm like, oh my god, that's too much. I need it to melt down now because that's too much snow. I'm going to be fucking waist high.
Yeah.
And it's going to ruin the picture.
Unless you got that, like, 3 inches of ice and it might hold you up there. You never know.
Yeah. Yeah, so now I need to wait for it to melt down to what I want it to look like in my head. And then once that happens, I'm hoping I'll have everything that I'm missing, which is just the body paint stuff. I don't have any, like, black body paint or foundation that I can use to, like, create the effect that I need.
Of course.
So I need to get that, and then hopefully, by the time I get those things, it'll have melted enough out there and I can create this vision that's been in my brain for so long. You know?
I love
so we'll
it.
see.
You have to show me the
you know?
pictures, because, I mean, I remember your last kind of thing that you did was very, very cool in, like, the abandoned house or whatever it was, so very creative. Is that the same photographer that you were hoping to work with again?
Yeah.
I'm not very good, or not very practiced, but I'll come on. I'll come over. Well, I can't wait to see it if he's able to do it, you know?
This might turn into... No, this is probably going to turn into a self-photography thing. I'll probably be doing this all on my own, which I can do.
Absolutely.
I've done many a times, so we'll just hope that I can create the effect that I'm looking for on my own.
And if not, you know, we'll figure it out. Just, that's it. I'm coming over.
But yeah. We're a little stop and go-y right now with the...
I know. Would we prefer to have stoppy go-y or...
Well, I don't know if it's
weird
me.
audio?
I just turned my Wi-Fi off on my phone just to see. I don't know if I'm affecting the connection, if it's you,
I think
on your end, you know?
I think the main computer actually behind me is on, so I might open that up and actually just shut it down. Because I forgot that also takes the Wi-Fi.
Yes, it does. That it does.
Okay, better shut it down.
But yeah. I'm ready for this fucking snow to be gone. Anyway, so yeah, 40-degree weather next week.
Which I'm
and what I've heard. We'll see if that's what we actually get.
I mean, I'll
just
even
because-
take 35. It's good.
Honestly, I'll take a consistent 30, 35, somewhere's in there. Give me that and I'll be happy. Give me the consistent 35-ish at least. We're good.
It's a...
That's perfect t-shirt weather, and I hope everybody...
I wouldn't say that.
I hope everybody listening that lives in some warm climate area is shivering at the idea of being in t-shirts and shorts during 35-degree weather, because to me that sounds fantastic. I could be in a t-shirt.
I could be in, like, pants and a sweatshirt and be okay, but I'd still
I mean,
prefer
I'll
to
probably
have
have, like, a
19
layer.
bundles of stuff on.
I'll probably be layered up, but if I'm actually, like, moving around doing stuff in, like, 35-degree weather, I'm gonna be in a t-shirt.
Windows are gonna be open.
It's gonna be great. Now, if I just have to be standing still outside, I'm gonna need a layer on, don't get me wrong. But if I'm moving around doing stuff in 35-degree weather, fuck yeah.
Yeah, even Chloe's over having to put her jacket on every single
I
day.
get it, girl. I get it, girl. I hate wearing my jacket, too. I do.
It's a process for dogs, too.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, because you gotta get them to step their little legs in, and it's usually underneath them where it, like, connects.
And I think it's
everything.
been rubbing on her because she gets wet, because when she's walking, she, like, kicks up the water on herself, so she's gets wet during her walks, and I think wherever the thing, it's either she's licking herself too much or wherever it's sitting is, like, rubbing on her, so it's, like, starting to get sore, so when you...
could do a layer of a sweater underneath.
I definitely want to get, like, a dog... I've wanted to get, like, a thermal dog sweater for other reasons.
And then that would create that layer between the jacket and everything. And then she's got something waterproof over the sweater so the sweater doesn't get sopping wet. That spot might get wet, but it won't get, like, completely sopping wet. And then that'll hopefully stop that rub from happening.
Yeah, because you pushed us off by, like, 30 minutes, and so I went to the store and got some, like... wound care stuff to put on it, because she does lick herself, and I think that is part of the problem, but I also think that the weather and her getting wet for 30 minutes twice a day.
And when they have wounds, they tend to lick their wounds a lot more than they should, and then it makes it worse than it needs to be. So it could be bothering her, which is leading her to lick, and now it's getting worse because she's also licking it.
It's
and
just
then
your poor girl. There we are.
Oh, there she is. What's a poor
Speaking
girl?
of the devil.
She's like, you're speaking about me. I come back in here. I gotta be here to listen.
I gotta lay down and make sure you're not talking too much shit.
Yeah, make sure you're not talking shit in here.
But aside from that, things have been good. I had my niece over. She slept over for a sleepover Friday into Saturday. We watched a movie, and then for a lot of Saturday, we had planned a girls' day. And so we went to a few different stores to get her some cool, like, new clothes or whatever. She loves Walmart, and she loves JoJo Siwa clothes. So we were trying to find stuff for her there. And then we went to Salvation Army because... I don't know. I loved it there as a kid because my mom would say yes to basically anything, and it would be $1.
You can find some really interesting fucking things, and you can find some fucking great pieces of clothing.
Absolutely. I love it there. I mean,
I want to get back into thrift shopping more. Like, I literally want to go back to thrift shopping. And I kind of need to, because I can't really afford getting brand new stuff all the time. Yeah. So,
and I'm just a hot mess express, so if I get a new thing and then I ruin it in like 3 wears, it makes me upset.
Well, that's my thing that I try to keep in mind is with my job is like, yeah, sure, I'm in sales, but I'm also in sales where like I'm still crawling around on the grocery store floor. Okay?
Exactly.
My pants get dirty. I'm not looking to spend fucking $80 on a pair of pants that I'm going to be crawling around in dirt and grime and stuff on. I have to constantly wash my hands.
Yeah.
Like, no.
It's not happening. I want to look good, but also not be worried about it.
Exactly. I don't want to feel like shit for like looking down at my pants and going, wow, you're like gonna destroy these pants fast.
Yeah, I just already have anxiety. I don't need more things to give me that. So, but she loved it, and she got like a couple shirts and a pair of pants for like $1 each because they were also having a sale. So she was pumped. She was adorable. And so then we came home and we bought decorations to have a fashion show. So we set up this fashion show and we put on a fashion show for Mark and her mom, and it was just
I love that.
The greatest, and she's awesome, and it made me even more excited to potentially have children, I guess. Just because that was such a cool experience.
Things like that are like the motivators that are like, oh my god, maybe I could have a child. But then there's a lot of other factors that pop up that I'm like, okay, like that's sweet. But then there's the reality of having that child. And then
all
I'm
day,
like,
every day.
I can't do that. That's why I'm gonna make such a great aunt as my nieces and nephews get older. Fuck yeah, come over, hang out for a night or two, and then get your ass out of here because I can only take you for that long. That's about all I can handle.
That's so funny, honestly. And she's 7, so she's kind of at that age where she's a girl. We have a whole like podcast just to talk because we like to talk, and so she's a girl and she loves to talk as well. And
absolutely,
I love it. But after about 8 hours, I'm like, oh god, please. Please, I gotta take a nap.
Yeah, no, seriously, but that's me. It's like I like kids for the most part, but like
I love them.
I can only have them in small doses. Like I can't do them more than, like you said, like 8 hours. Oh my god, more than a day's worth of hanging out with you is like too much. I need a day of a break between that. Thank you very much. I don't
know what
understand.
To tell you, we love you, but
yeah, no, I love you. I love you to pieces, absolute pieces. But you gotta go.
You gotta go.
You gotta go for a little bit.
I do realize that when you have children, and like, because when we brought her back to her house and we did the fashion show, she was kind of pooped. She just wanted to like watch a movie.
Oh yeah.
And obviously, there's times like that as like a full-time parent where you do have that. A little bit more of a space or whatever to take a hot minute break, but I also know that that's not always true for everyone.
It's not true for everyone. You're never guaranteed. Also, there's my other thing of like, here's my other thing, okay?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Of the terrifying part of having a kid.
Oh, yeah.
There's no guarantee they're gonna turn into a decent person. I'm gonna invest fucking 18, 20 years into trying my hardest to turn you into the best person I possibly can. And no matter how hard I try, you could still turn into the world's biggest piece of shit.
Yeah, and if you throw in a head injury, you're gonna turn into a serial killer, basically.
Responsible for that.
Exactly.
And that's on me. I don't want to live with that.
I'll be so mad at myself.
I would be pissed.
Oh,
I would be so mad. I invested so much time, money, and energy and love into you, and this is the thanks I get? No.
Yes.
No. That's like one of those other things that really just like keeps me from dedicating the idea to having a child.
And we kind of have questionable genetics just based on who we have in our family, maybe possible siblings, I don't know.
No, my genetics are great. Why do you think if I ever have a child, it won't be from
yours.
me?
Exactly.
Because I made that choice. In case you weren't aware, Kaylee got her tubes removed.
And Nicholas
fucking
got
gone.
snipped?
Taken out. Yes, Nicholas got snipped. And what's funny is he got snipped first. Oh, you paused a little.
I can hear you, though.
Okay. Alright. Yes. Nicholas got snipped. And it's funny because Nicholas got snipped first, and I'm shocked he got approved because I don't think we were even married yet when he got approved.
I feel like it's easier for men to get
We
approved.
may have been, but the thing is he actually, everyone he talked to about it said that they had a hard time getting approved. And it's, I don't know, it depends to the doctor you go to as well. And I guess he just got lucky because the doctor he spoke to. But also, I mean, we also both had very sound reasoning of why we didn't want to.
Yeah.
And then me, I was already married and my husband was already snipped, so it was like, listen, he's already gotten snipped. We fucking made the choice. It's done. Like, I don't want these kids. Him being snipped just helped my cause, but the doctor I went to, she was very open to it anyways, and she was just like, I legally have to tell you these specific things, and then we're good. And all it was just reminding me that it's, permanent. And the only other way for me to physically get pregnant is through IVF. So I can still get pregnant and have a child, but it would be through IVF. And all that stuff. And I'm like, yeah, that's great.
Which is interesting. I guess I didn't know that.
Yeah, because I still have a womb, I still have eggs, I still have a period and shed my lining, just they don't have a way to get to the uterus or the womb, wherever
through
it happens.
Through the fallopian tubes.
They can't get through the fallopian tubes because the tubes are gone.
Because the tubes are...
But yeah, so I can still get pregnant.
That's very cool.
But,
I mean, some people have to do IVF even without all that, so it's like...
Exactly. Honestly.
Interesting.
Honestly, I'm impressed that through my life, I've never even had a pregnancy scare, okay?
Oh,
Listen, I'm impressed that through my life, I mean, don't get me wrong, there were moments where I panicked and was like, is this a possibility? Only for the reality, like, no.
No, it's not.
No. But just, yeah, but that's okay. Yeah, no. Kids aren't really for me, man. That's okay. It's not for everybody.
I think maybe one kid is for me.
I mean, if we do, like I said, it'd be one. If we have a kid in our life, it'll be one kid, and that's probably gonna be max. I can't see me having more than one kid.
I would love to picture myself with 10 children. Just because I can just
Laura,
see
too
myself...
many nieces and nephews.
Seeing myself... I'm just good with kids, so I can see myself doing it, but I could not see me mentally handle it.
I could see you with 10 kids, sure, but I could also not see you with 10
That's
kids.
what I'm
because
saying.
I know you very well at this point, and I know your mental capabilities, and you are gonna crash and burn so fucking hard one day, and I'm gonna be left with Mark with 10 kids, and I'm just gonna be like, I don't know what to do!
Somebody! Yeah, you didn't realize you were gonna be adopting 5 children.
I'm gonna be like, oh my god, this is not what I was expecting, Laura.
You don't always get what you want, alright?
Yep. Essentially.
But, yep, so things have been good. A little less stressy, depressing on this 35-degree day and hanging out with my niece.
Yeah.
But, how was you?
Honestly, same.
Yeah.
It's just nice that the weather is getting a little bit warmer. I'm just excited for it to be spring so that when I'm home, I can spend my days outside doing stuff outside. Because, now that I've got a house, I want to go outside.
Yeah.
Because before, don't get me wrong, I always wanted to go outside. But when you live in a small city that you're just and you don't even have a yard really, and you're all seeing each other in your yard, and there's no privacy or anything.
Just not as
it
relaxing.
Makes it that you don't want to go outside. And that was my biggest thing of why I never wanted to go out, was because of that. But now that I've got a house, I'm chomping at the bit to be able to go outside and just sit outside.
I was supposed to say, we don't have to do anything outside. Even just sitting outside is just
No, exactly.
great.
I can just go outside and sit in my yard. And that's what I want. I'm just chomping at the bit to be able to, like, leave the porch doors, like, wide open for the cats, you know? Like, to be able to just, like, pop outside and sit outside for a little bit and not be cold, like, not have to throw an extra layer on, just, like, walk outside and just walk around in the yard like a fucking, like an adult. Like a random adult. Like I'm a middle-aged adult, like, with my drink in my hand, just, you know, my hand on my back, walking through my yard, just like, yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, alright. Oh, we gotta chop that tree over there.
Yeah.
Oh, we should really look at and trim that bush up in that spring.
You know, I must be close to my period, because I don't know if this ever happens to you. Obviously, you get, like, sad and cryy, but this conversation is making me happy and cryy, because I cannot wait.
It just gets me emotional. Yeah, getting overly emotional. Yeah, no.
I just cannot wait.
Yep. No, I totally get it. Like, I'm just so excited to be able to do all this stuff out in the spring. Like, you know, I'm going to be making a garden, and I'm, like, excited to have a garden and do that.
I'm excited, too. And I think I have a little bit more, because Mark and I have been working on our budget, so I feel like our savings is good, and I have just a little bit more money to actually spend on buying newer plants to put in my garden, because last year, that shit's expensive, bro.
See, here's where
my stepmom, beautiful. All the help.
See, that's the thing, is here's where I don't have to worry, is my mother-in-law is supplying all of my plants for my garden, basically. I just have to tell her what I want to do, and then she's going to supply it. So
shit's expensive, and my stepmom went out. All I said is, can I have some ideas? That would be great, because I don't know what's going to work best. And she was like, oh yeah, and then just bought everything.
Yeah, because,
oh my god.
I really want a small vegetable garden this year. Do that. Maybe, like, 1 or 2 fruit bush, you know, maybe a fruit bush or something. You know,
I've been
something
looking at
like
apple
that.
trees, not gonna lie.
I want to do an apple tree at some point, but I don't know where I want to do it yet, and we've got to rip up some other plants, so I'm going to wait to do, like, our fruit trees, but I do want to do some fruit trees in our yard, and yes, plural. I'm going to have multiple fruit trees. I also have to decide what kind of apple tree I want.
Yeah, because you might need 2, because they're weird, and they need to be, like, fertilized by the female tree if it's not able to produce on its own.
We gotta be smart about how we do it. So, you know, I want multiple fruit trees and stuff like that, and just, but yeah, like this year, I'm gonna just do like a small little vegetable garden. You know,
I'm excited.
Simple.
Yeah. Just get it started. That's all.
Exactly.
A little off topic, but next.
When doesn't that happen?
True. Next Sunday, will I be sheeing you?
Next Sunday, that's right, your appointment.
In person, yeah, I know we were like, oh, we'll record next Sunday, just like jokes on us.
Yeah, I believe I have it in here.
Okay.
Yeah, there you are.
Sounds good.
So yeah.
I did not realize it was coming up that quick until because it's the change of the
I'm
month.
Supposed to go that Thursday to see the girl that did my little cat skull tattoo again, to get another small little tattoo from her.
That's exciting.
Don't ask me when I'm getting it, because I don't know.
Because you didn't know yet. I mean,
I don't know.
The cat skull was kind of randomized as well for a minute.
Well, yeah, she just sent me a bunch of random little ones that she had in her book, because I told her, I was like, just send me a bunch of random pictures of ones you want to do. I like asking artists what ones you want to do, and then them sending them to me and being like, yeah, I like that one, throw it on there.
I also feel like it means that they're really comfortable with those ones if they want to do stuff.
Exactly. I want to know what you're comfortable with, like, that you've done a million times, or that you've really been dedicated to, and then be like, alright, let's do that.
Do it. As opposed
I don't
to Jeremy
have many
in a
tattoos
fair.
like that, where I just slap a random tattoo on me. I do have a surprising amount of tattoos with meaning, which is weird for me. But, you know, I'm a big supporter of not every tattoo has to have meaning.
I am for
I
other
literally
people.
want,
I don't think I am for me. I've got too much
I
inside.
literally want a tattoo of Frank's Red Hot Buffalo Sauce, because I love their fucking buffalo sauce.
You know, next tattoo, right there.
It's my favorite one. And then, I'm thinking right under it, or right next to it, is of getting, like, just Dr. Pepper in a fancy font. Because I love Dr. Pepper so fucking much.
It seems like you have your next tattoos picked out. You should just send her a text right now.
But I don't know if I want to commit to color on the Frank's Red Hot Buffalo Sauce. I haven't decided if I don't really do color tattoos. I know I have some color tattoos, not many. But I'm not big on colored tattoos. I like my black and grays, but it just feels like for the Frank's Red Hot, I should do it in color.
A little,
and that's fine because the colors that it would be, I wouldn't have any reaction to. I have to stay away from blues. I break out bad with blues. Blues and I do not get along. I learned that one the hard way when I got my Care Bear tattoo for my mom. Yikes, did that one fucking suck for a healing process when I broke out into hives. Yeah.
And then did it heal?
It healed fine.
Okay.
Cause I just applied the hydrocortisone cream to it, and then it was fine.
Good.
As long as you don't scratch and itch at it, and don't cause damage to it, it'll be fine. It just got a little extra bumpy and itchy.
And I
wanted to rip my flesh off.
That one of my reasons, and I think that's my issue, is I think when he like shaves where he's gonna whatever, when the hair grows back, I think that's what causes me to get so bumpy and itchy.
Oh, it does. Yeah. When the hair grows back,
and
for sure.
Makes me want to freak out.
Personally, I like to shave my own body part that's getting tattooed, and then I usually do it the night before, so that way my skin's not so sensitive after having it been shaved, and now it's about to get tattooed on, and yeah. So it might be a good idea the night before your tattoo, just shave your arm down, get some lotion on there, shave it down, lotion
I just need to lotion my arms in general. Last time I got a tattoo, I was like, white girl ashy as fuck, and I was like, I'm sorry.
It's okay, I forget to moisturize all the time. When I got my Japanese tattoo done, I have a little bit of blue in there, and that was the first time I had any, like, color done, and blues done, and when I had my second round done on the bottom half of my arm, that one was my roughest healing session because we did so much in that day, and it was just rough. It was just a rough healing process on the second half on the bottom part of my arm. Like, just the bottom part of my arm in general was a much shittier healing process, but especially when we did all the filling in on the second half, because that's when we filled in all the black and all the color and everything, and all the blues broke out in hives.
Yep.
And
that fucking sucks.
Like, that healing process was so bad that I was actually having, like, I just could not resist itching occasionally. I was resorting to fucking smacking my arm constantly because I was in so much just, like, pain of, like, needing to itch and just so irritated, and it was because I was reacting to the blues, but I didn't realize it at the time, so I wasn't putting hydrocortisone cream on it because I couldn't tell that it was an allergic reaction because I couldn't see the bumps and what they looked like because of the tattooing. So my brain, I was just thinking I'm just reacting because of all the trauma we just did to my skin and probably some of the ink, knowing that I had a little bit of a metal allergy and that there's metals in tattooing. So I'm just like, yeah, so I'm probably just reacting a bit. I wanted to rip my flesh off. That was the worst healing process for me, was that second half of my the bottom part of my left arm.
Your girl over here gets stress hives, and it has been a hard month to not itch all of right here because I'm trying to make it all not crazy looking for when Jeremy has to, like, figure out what he wants to do on that side of my arm, and that's where I break out the most with my stress hives, and oh my
exactly.
God, it's been driving me crazy. And I know we've been here for a hot minute, but I was talking to Mark last night, and I want to know if you ever get the same feeling as, like, when you look at your tattoos, even if they're lovely and great, do you ever just feel, like, slightly claustrophobic just because you know you can't rip off your skin and get new skin?
I don't know if it's necessarily claustrophobic.
It makes me feel stuck,
but, like,
which is like,
just yeah, because, like, you can't, like,
not the whole body. So it's like, oh God, what have I done?
You can get rid of it, but it's a long, arduous, painful process. And it's very expensive. That's why so many people just resort to blacking out their tattoos and then
good.
going over with white ink because it's just cheaper than going, and it's way less painful, and you can break it up into sessions to just black it out rather than go and do it like a laser removal, because it sucks. So there are some times where I look and I'm like, I wish I could hit a reset button.
But I also
I
don't
can't,
at the same
obviously.
time.
No, I love the artwork on
Of
my body, but I
course.
totally understand what you mean when there's times where you look at it and
It's
you're
like,
I wish I had
permanence.
the ability.
Yeah,
I wish I had the ability to be able to reset it if I absolutely wanted to.
exactly.
But, yeah. No.
And I know you won't let me get an ugly fairy tattoo on Sunday, okay? Because I know
Absolutely not.
he is unsure of himself, it seems, a bit.
Kaylee has a lot of feelings on Laura's tattoo artist. He's a good guy, but she has feelings.
I have feelings too.
We're not going to talk about him here. Anyways.
Now that we're half an hour in, and if you're still listening, hi.
Hi. We like to talk, in case you weren't aware. Hence why we started a da-da-da-da-da-da podcast. Because we like to talk, and this is how we do things here. We do a check-in with each other, with you guys. How are you? Here, let me give you a moment of
some silence.
How are you doing? Please, tell us.
We don't mean to laugh at your feelings. We are so sorry. We just can't keep a
This
straight
is just
face.
us trying to be quiet for like 30 seconds and it's not doing well. Anyways, I'll just edit in a space of silence for you.
I like it. I like the giggles, because we love your funny stories.
Anyways, so I'm so happy for you, or I'm so sorry for you, whatever it was you just told us.
Fits
Because
best.
we can't hear you. Please comment down below wherever you can comment down below. If you go to YouTube and you listen to this, you can leave comments. I don't know where else you can unless you come find us on socials. So
Totally do it
that's
up.
in the
You know,
description.
tell us about your day.
But let us know how things going for you. Yeah. So let's get into things now that we're 30 minutes in and we've been yapping away.
That went
like
so quick for us.
Want to do.
We should have started the podcast by saying we've got some questionable topics for our day, at least from my end, and said to you on your end. So let's get it together, because I'm excited to see what the chaos is going to bring us.
Let's do this. Okay, so we always start off with what, Laura?
A cat fact.
Cat fact.
I was going to say, or a cat story. I don't know which one we were doing.
Story.
But cat fact, we're gonna give you a cat fact. Chloe's concerned with my singing.
Rudo gets concerned when I sing. She thinks I'm in a panic or like mode of need of her like attention and needing to calm down, and I'm just I'm fine.
You're
I'm sorry.
okay.
Alright, here we go. I don't know if I've said this one before. Listen, we're wont to repeat sometimes we forget, okay? Male cats are more likely to be left pawed, while female cats are more likely to be right pawed.
What does it mean to be left pawed and right pawed? Like when they're
You
in
know
a
how we have a
fight,
dominant
they're gonna
hand?
smack her more.
Well, yeah, like more probably if they like are more likely to bat at things, or if they're
Okay.
likely to use that paw to grab at something. Maybe I don't know,
Interesting.
like
I
their
just-
dominant paw.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
I
go,
think
there's
that's
your
a
cat
new
fact.
one because I didn't know that.
Okay. Well, there's your cat fact.
Yeah, we have yet to get a cat story from our peeps, and we'd love that. We had one potential, but I think he was just trolling us, so I was trolling him.
Yeah, because you notice how he keeps messaging saying hello.
Yeah, and I was
Hey,
like, oh.
and I'm like, I don't think he's here to give
I-
us a cat story. Laura.
Did you read what I was saying to
I
him?
did. I read
just
the
was just-
messages.
I was just fucking with him because I didn't think so either. And I was like, oh, we asked for cat stories. Are you here to oblige? And he said yes.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah, he said yes, and then the next
And then-
message was hello.
hello? So get out of here.
All right, here we go. Here is our little story. It's coming from the same place of the last story I told you guys on the last episode. But they got multiple stories on here. They got multiple good stories.
Cat stories forever.
Exactly. So we'll get through these guys first, and then we'll go and we'll find somewhere else to get some cat stories from. Listen, we're limited until you guys fucking start sending us in some goddamn stories.
Yeah.
Send us in some goddamn stories.
We want to know.
Alright, so woman helped 100 seniors rehome their cats before passing away, bringing peace of mind. Angela Refuse, a compassionate 28-year-old, found her life's calling after her grandfather passing left his cat, Mackenzie, without a home. Angela stepped up despite her own challenges and took in the calico herself. Despite Mackenzie's initial Despite Mackenzie's initial grumpiness, Angela showered her with love, and soon the cat warmed up to her. This experience inspired Angela to establish My Grandfather's Cat, a nonprofit aimed at rehoming cats of seniors facing illness or transitioning to retirement homes. With a team of dedicated volunteers, My Grandfather's Cat is a safe space for seniors to arrange second forever homes for their beloved felines. The senior picks their pet's second forever home and can stay in touch with the new owners who will share updates. Angela explained. Cool, right? Angela's dedication and heartwarming success stories not only bring joy but create a beautiful ripple effect of kindness and compassion in the lives of both cats and seniors. And that is just a short blurb, and if you go down to the description where we have the link for this little story, you can go read the full story.
I mean, that is so sweet, and I think it's kind of sad that even if you're going into like a nursing home type facility, you can't even bring your beloved cat.
I know.
I get it.
At least till the end, like to the very end. Like, come on, like, I'm dying in my home with my babies.
That's right. Let them eat me. I don't give a shit. What am I gonna do?
Give a shit. I love when I see those things like, you know, if you die with your cat in your house, like they're gonna eat you. First of all, not if you leave food behind for them. And 9 times out of 10, when you see bite marks left behind on humans, it's not necessarily from them eating them. It's from them trying to wake up their human.
Yep. And, you know, at the end of the day, I plan to be cremated and put in a giant stove of oven and turned to ash. So at least if your cat was gonna, if my cat was gonna eat me, fuck it.
If it benefits my cat because he's fucking starving or something, then fine. I don't care. I'd rather my cat eat me than starve to death.
Have you heard of a Tibetan sky burial? Because if you haven't, you can learn about it.
It's a terrible way to go is through starvation. So no thank you. I'm not going to be mad if my cat eats me because they're going to starve otherwise. Hello? Are
you okay out there? Like, you're
Who
dead.
hurt you?
You're dead. Like, you think you matter that much as just a body? Honey, you don't. Okay.
Those are my feelings.
Those are my feelings.
Alright, well, I believe I go first this week.
I think so too, because I am excited to hear about the 2 things that we... how did you phrase it? Enjoy? Like?
Yeah, 2 things that we thoroughly enjoy. At least learning about one of them, you know. One of them is at least learning about.
Okay, can't wait to hear what this is.
Doomsday?
You know what? Actually, check.
Cat Cult.
Double check. So 3 things that we are interested in.
Doomsday Cat Cult. Doomsday Cat Cult. We are talking about a Doomsday Cat Cult today. I have recently learned about them. And the article I found that I'm going to read to you guys is from NashvilleScene.com because they ended up at some point in Tennessee. But I believe they started in Washington. I'm going to read this little article that they wrote up. There was another one that I read, but it felt like they didn't have as much information as this one does, so I'm going to read this one instead, which will be linked down below because no, I don't do my own work. That's not what we're here for.
No.
Alright, so you might rattle off a quick list of things that Columbia, Tennessee is known for, if prompted. It's the home of James K. Polk, our 11th president. Didn't know that. Good for you. Every
Polk?
April brings
Interesting.
Mule Day and its parade and festival. You might even know about the race riots in the 1940s. And you know what? That one I did know about. And the work of defense... Laura, learn your history.
Oh, I learn it. It just doesn't stay in.
Same, honestly. And the work of the defense attorney and later Supreme Court Justice Thurgood Marshall. It may also be home to an end times cat cult. The Reverend Cheryl Ruthven and a few dozen followers left Washington State 3 years ago, hoping to find a place where they could live in peace and quietly wait out the apocalypse. Along the way, they hoped to rescue as many cats as possible. Those cats, according to Ruthven's writings and interviews with former followers, are divine creatures that will carry the 144,000 souls mentioned in the Book of Revelation. But the group's unorthodox beliefs and controversial history followed it all the way across the country. In public, Ruthven's followers, who run a non-profit cat shelter known as Eva's Eden, describe themselves as a peaceful group devoted to Mother Nature and living in harmony. They foster dozens of kittens in their homes and host cat adoption events in their air-conditioned mobile cat playground. Our call has always been to help ease suffering, and we are Eva's Den, bringing love to the world one cat at a time. They wrote in a now deleted Facebook post. But a group of former followers says Ruthven's ministry is a cult of personality devoted to its prophet, who they say claims to be a divine Magdalene, a reincarnated Messiah figure who will create a new Eden after the apocalypse. Those former followers say they once worshipped Ruthven, following her every command, even leaving their families for her sake. They now run a Facebook page aimed at exposing what they call an abusive cult. Eva's Eden denies these claims. They say former members are a hate group founded by Ruthven's ex-husband aimed at slandering their ministry. The nonprofit has responded to critics by denouncing them online, trading letters with legal threats, and then posting cute cat videos on YouTube. But in early August, Eva's Eden disappeared. 2 days after a reporter requested an interview with Ruthven or other leaders, Eva's Eden website went down. Its Facebook page and YouTube accounts vanished, and the group canceled a planned public cat adoption at a Kroger grocery store in nearby Spring Hill. Nicole Walker, Ruthven's daughter and manager of Eva's Eden, also filed a criminal complaint with the Maury County Sheriff's Office against Rachel Gunderson, one of the group's critics, accusing her of harassment. It's the latest chapter in a complicated mashup of spiritual experimentation, charismatic leadership, and cute cat videos.
You know, when we say it's not a podcast, it's a cult, this is what we're talking about.
Yeah, this is the kind of cult that Laura and I would end up in somehow because we love cats so much. And we'd just look at each other and be like, Laura, I think we're in a cult. I think we entered a cult. I think we fucked up.
I think we'd just be like, it happens. You know, it's for the cats. It's for the cats.
It's for the cats. It's for the cats. Alright. Michelle Lamphere first met Ruthven in the late 1990s at Gates of Praise, a small Pentecostal church that once met on the second floor of the former Sons of Norway Hall in Bellingham, Washington. Lamphere was a new mom at the time and had just started going back to church. Ruthven, then known as Cheryl Walker, was one of the first people she met. She was tall, blonde, rich, and had an almost irresistible magnetism, says Lamphere. Everybody idolized her, she says. Every woman wanted to be her best friend. Ruthven also had the gift of prophecy, according to Lamphere and other former followers. Okay, you froze for a second. Okay. She seemed to be able to know exactly what people were going through when she spoke. She'd go into a kind of trance, as if God's voice spoke through her. According to recordings of her prophecies made by followers, people would arrive early at church, just in case Ruthven might have... Oh, excuse me.
Out of nowhere. Yeah.
That one forced its way out. I'm sorry. People would arrive early at church just in case Ruthven might have a word for them from God. In the early 2000s, there was a church split. Most of the congregation followed Ruthven to start a new church known as Freedom Fire Ministries. Mary Gunderson, a former Assemblies of God children's pastor and aspiring worship leader, heard about the church while shopping at a Walmart. Gunderson saw... That's where you know where you're going to find the best fucking church to go to. When you're shopping at fucking Walmart, man.
Walmart and Kroger are really getting a shout out today.
For real. Gunderson saw a business card for the ministry on a bulletin board and decided to check it out. I heard Cheryl preach that day and I was hooked, she says. She and Ruthven became inseparable. Gunderson says she would spend every free hour she could with her new pastor. She soon... Oh my god, there's so many S words. She soon became convinced that Ruth Bain wasn't just an ordinary pastor, but that she was a prophet. And if Gunderson stuck with her, then her salvation would be secure. I tied myself in so I would not lose favor with God, and that I would not lose favor with this woman, she says, a hint of what sounds like embarrassment in her voice. Before long, Gunderson's... She should be. I read most of this article, and she should be. Before long, Gunderson's younger sister Rachel had joined as well. Like her sister, Rachel Gunderson had grown up in the Assemblies of God, but had grown disenchanted with her home church. She felt distant from God and was looking for a spiritual connection. Rachel found it at Freedom Fire. It felt like a waterfall when I walked into Cheryl's church, Rachel says. I felt alive again. Just being in Ruthven's presence was like a spiritual high, her former followers say. A smile, a touch, or a kind word made them feel like they were experiencing God's love firsthand. They came to believe that their salvation depended on being under Ruthven's spiritual oversight or covering. Following Cheryl gave me what I felt I had been looking for my whole life, says Rachel Gunderson. It was like I had finally arrived at who and what I was supposed to be by following her teachings and learning to be like her. As time went on, Ruthven's former followers learned the downside of following a prophet. Ruthven claimed to have a direct contact with God, as they always do, and to be speaking God's words, as they always do. No one was allowed to disagree with her. Huh.
Weird.
Say former followers, anyone who disobeyed was banished. She knew how to put the fear of God in us, says Lamphere. Among those banished from the group was Lamphere's then teenage daughter, Shaylin. Shaylin had often been in trouble with Ruthven and refused to follow her instructions. When she was caught drinking at 16, so honestly same, I would have been kicked out too. Shaylin was grounded at first, and then Ruthven told her parents to get rid of her. So they took Shaylin into the backyard.
What the? No. Oh my god.
They don't put a gun to her head.
So they took her to the backyard like good old puppy hair and just kablammy. Wow. Look at that sunset.
The person that wrote this article is a genius for saying that. Because when I read this, I was like, no. I knew you were going to react the same way, and I needed to stop and be like, no, it's okay. So they took Shaylin into the backyard, joined hands in a circle with her brothers, and cast her out of the family. We give the devil...
just shoot me at this point. God damn. Cast me out. Get out of here.
We give the devil permission to overtake her and bring her to his side. She is no longer covered with our covering. Shaylin recalls her parents saying in an account of her experience posted on Facebook, "She is on her own, and you may now take her. My own parents did this. Gave my soul away." That is why this woman should be ashamed and embarrassed of being a part of this.
That is so fucked. And also, at this point, I think I would just go with it. I would start rolling on the ground and freaking out and pretending to be possessed just to fuck with him. Like, go fuck yourself.
Oh god, I love that so much.
The theatrics are coming out, alright?
It's a decision that shames Michelle Lamphere to this day. As it should. At the time, she says she would have done almost anything that Ruthven commanded. Today, she cannot believe how she treated her daughter. What kind of mother does that? She says.
You bitch!
For real, though!
You bitch!
You! That's you!
I understand that you were getting manipulated, but also, you chose...
Holy shit!
Some random woman over your fucking daughter. That's what I never understood about God. They were like, oh, give me your firstborn child to fucking murder. Or like, whatever.
That's what I
and
never
just
got
trust
about
us.
it either.
Like,
is like the idea of sacrificing your fucking child.
For God?
For some person.
Exactly.
Some God. Some being.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it.
Like,
but it's like,
Jesus fucking Christ. No!
That's not very, godlike to me. Murder? It's actually against the rules of the God.
Literally,
so it's like, how
usually the gods are against murder.
Exactly. So, and if you're just like, yes, here, take my child because I trust and love you as a god, I'd be like, go fuck yourself. I don't care who you are. That's my kid.
Fucking for real. I just don't get it.
Take me at this point. That's crazy.
So, anyways, continuing on. Along with following Ruthven's directions, her former followers say they had to change their beliefs to conform with her prophecies. At first, the changes were small. The church stopped celebrating Christmas and Easter and instead focused on Jewish holidays. By 2005, they changed their name to Moriah Ministries after the mountain where Abraham was told to sacrifice his son in the book of Genesis. Soon, beliefs from other faiths and spiritual traditions were added. Worship services now opened with Tai Chi and Buddhist meditation. After that came teachings about chakras and healing crystals, Tibetan singing bowls, ancient Egyptian gods like Osiris and Isis, the Greek goddess Athena, and a host of New Age-like practices.
Which is totally fine if you want to, like, check out different spirituality types and figure out what suits you best, but, like, goddamn.
It's a salad of religion.
It's a salad of religion. Is that what they wrote?
No, that's
that was you. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. It's a salad of religion. I'm writing that one down. That's so funny to me.
Eventually, the group renamed itself the Oneness Foundation and settled into a renovated former Masonic hall in Blaine, Washington, about half an hour north of Bellingham. PowerPoint slides of Ruthven's sermon notes from around the same period show the group's eclectic mix of beliefs. There are notes about the effects of powerful karmic moon references to Yom Kippur and warnings about Judgment Day. The group's worship songs also reflected their mix of beliefs. They range from familiar church hymns like Great is Thy Faithfulness to songs of praise to Ruthven, who by this time claimed to be a reincarnated Mary Magdalene. Athena spreads her wings and lifts her staff. She opens the door and says, "Come in, I recognize you. You are Magdalene," says one of the songs. "You have the power to recreate Eden, so come in, Magdalene. So come in, Magdalene." Ruthven's followers also bowed down to her during worship. Once she had claimed to be a messiah figure. They say they also drank communion juice tinged with her blood. Ruthven would prick her finger and drip the blood into the communion cup, which was filled with grape juice. Then they'd all drink, say the Gundersons and Lamphere, and Rachel Gunderson says being in the ministry was like being trapped in an abusive relationship.
Yeah.
She knew things were bad, but didn't know how to leave.
Yeah.
She also feared losing her soul. Ruthven was a prophet, and doubting her was like doubting God.
That's exactly
it's
what
like
cults are. Just being in a domestic
It's like
violence
once you
relationship.
take a sip of the Kool-Aid, you keep drinking.
Yep. Oh god.
This kind of fluid theology and devotion to a charismatic leader can be common in new religious groups, says Ben Zeller, assistant professor of religion at Lake Forest College, just north of Chicago. Group members are often more tied to the leader than to their theology, says Zeller, who studied the Heaven's Gate cult in Arizona. If you are invested in the person rather than the theology of the group, that helps explain why the founder claims she is Mary Magdalene. People don't just leave, he says. They are invested in her. There's also a social side. Many new religious groups become close-knit, almost like a family. Those ties are hard to abandon. People say in churches all the time, even if they disagree with the preacher. Zeller notes, I don't think cults or new religions are different in that way. He says, there are plenty of people who are along for the ride. It's just that it's amazing what people will do when they are along for the ride. If it means giving up their money or control over their lives or their finances, their romantic relationships, or, in suicidal groups, their lives. Excuse me, I didn't know if that was going to be a burp or not.
She's trying to protect you all this time.
A few new religious groups turn out to be dangerous, says Zeller, and while their beliefs may seem to be odd to outsiders, they often make sense to those inside the group. After all, he says, even traditional beliefs, like the story of the burning bush or the virgin birth, may seem odd to outsiders. We can't just dismiss them as crazy, Zeller says. They are no weirder than us. Starting a non-profit charity, Zeller explains, is also common for new religious groups. New religions often use businesses or charities for outreach. Some honestly believe they are doing good, charitable work. Others are just seeking converts. Often it is both. Alright, now we get into the divine felines.
Yes.
That's what they titled this section. I haven't read you any of the other titles because they were dumb, but I like that
The
one.
divine felines.
So for Ruthven, the cat rescue business has both spiritual and personal motivations. She'd taught her followers to become vegans as part of their focus on being one with Mother Nature. They also began to volunteer at local animal shelters as part of their religious practice. Then Ruthven's cat, Eva, died, leaving her distraught. She saw the cat's death as a sign she should start her own cat rescue. Honestly, that'd be me.
For real. You're already thinking about it with your barn, don't lie.
We are actually doing that. We are making a cat sanctuary because we've realized we're pretty sure we have a cat colony. So we're like, you know what? Let's just make them a little cat sanctuary
lean
in our
into
barn.
that. Yeah.
Our goal is to get it that they're upstairs and have their own space upstairs because we have that whole loft up there. So stay tuned. Eventually, you'll be hearing about my cat sanctuary. She died on the winter solstice, Ruthven wrote in describing the founding of Eva's Eden. Death had come, now I needed to embrace life. How does one explain such a love to a world that sees animals only as animals? As I had studied and taught my people that of Egyptian alchemy, I grew in reverence for their beliefs of honoring the felines as vessels that are now able to guide us through our passageway of life. And that shit would reel me in.
Yep.
That would get me.
Yep.
She would get me with that. I'd hear that and I'd be like, yes,
done.
ma'am, amen, praise the Lord, I am in, take my money, take it all, let's save the fucking cats.
Yeah.
That's it, I'm done, like
We're
that,
here.
she's got me, I'm got.
I mean, you're not wrong.
I was gonna say, tell me I'm wrong.
You're
Tell
not-
me I'm wrong,
you're not
Laura.
wrong.
So for Ruthven's followers, this new ministry meant fostering cats and kittens by the dozens. At one point, Lamphere had more than 40 cats in her home. So did the Gundersons. In the foster homes, the cats would eat first, even before the kids. Fuck yeah. Amen to that.
That's hilarious.
We had to revere them more than ourselves and our families, says Rachel Gunderson. And if the cats weren't treated with proper reverence, Ruthven would berate her followers. Eva's Eden is not social gathering hour, she wrote in a January 2013 email. It is the temple of God. You are to enter with the reverence of what is sealed within its foundation and walls and within every single feline. You are to enter with awe. You are to see each customer in there with discernment. Are they a chosen? Caring for the cats accomplished 2 goals, says Rachel Gunderson. Ruthven's followers were building up good karma by doing good deeds, and they were also preparing for the apocalypse. Ruthven taught them that the cats were supernatural beings in disguise, carrying the 144,000 souls mentioned in the New Testament book of Revelations. Those beings would come to the rescue of Ruthven's followers during the apocalypse. As long as you take care of them, then, in your time of need, they will transform and take care of you, Gunderson says. At first, Eva's Eden met with the public approval, seen by many as just another cute cat shelter. Gunderson and other members put together cat videos to promote their work. Ruthven's daughter-in-law, Nicole Walker, the shelter manager, gave interviews about the shelter but left out its spiritual underpinnings. We don't want to talk too much about that. The only sign of their religious beliefs, the Eva's Eden logo, which featured the outline of the Egyptian cat goddess Bastet.
I was just about to say, it is very Egyptian of them to be loving and worshiping cats. You know, that's fine.
Well, they did also talk about the Egyptian gods and stuff, and Egyptian alchemy and everything, you know, so they were doing all of that.
Yeah. I mean, it took them a few
tries
to, like, get there, but they're there now.
So inside the group, however, there was turmoil. Ruthven had feuded for years with her ex-husband, Mark Walker, a Washington developer. She accused him of abuse and had him arrested. The charges were dropped, but the two divorced. Mark would later remarry, and he and his second wife, Mary, began to meet with family members who'd been estranged from Ruthven's followers. Other group members also clashed with Ruthven and were asked to leave. Rachel Gunderson began to date a man from Tennessee without Ruthven's approval. While they talked on the phone, she mentioned she was working on a video for Ruthven about Eva's Eden. In Ruthven's eyes, that was an unforgivable betrayal, having told her followers to keep prophecies secret. So she banished Rachel from the group. Mary Gunderson moved out of the house, and she shared with Rachel and cut off all ties with her sister. You had no right, no authority to take what is mine, a prophet's, and give it to someone else, Ruthven told Rachel Gunderson in an email. You used my revelations and truths as if they were your own and gave them to darkness. Now they will be used against us. Around this time... Oh.
I was just going to say, now, the leader, do you think they're...
Cuckoo bananas?
Well, yes, but what kind of cuckoo bananas? Like, do they genuinely believe all this stuff they're spewing, or are they just super manipulative?
I think she does. I think she genuinely believes this stuff. Right. I think she does. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know much about this cult. Like I said, I only recently heard about them. Right. But I think this woman genuinely believes herself.
Just by the way she talks about it, you know, I don't know.
She comes like off as someone who genuinely believes herself. Yeah. Yeah. So around this time, Ruthven was planning what she called her exodus to Tennessee. The move was prompted in part by growing conflict with her critics. She also told followers that the end was drawing near. She wanted them to move to Tennessee and begin preparations for the apocalypse, which meant buying farms where they could live off the land when society collapsed. Ruthven attempted to escape any controversy. Followers were directed to say that Eva's Eden was shutting down and that Ruthven had gone into retirement in Scotland. Please don't make me regret opening the doors for you to come with me to Tennessee, Ruthven said in an email. I'm going to start over and to have no one know anything about myself, the cult, or the church. She even calls it a cult! Wow.
So why does she call it the cult or the church? Because, like, it's...
I don't know.
It's either or, babe.
I don't know.
There's a fine line, and it's very fine, I will say that, but, like, there is a fine line.
And Ruthven might have gotten her wish had she not changed her mind and reestablished Eva's Eden in Tennessee. Not long after arriving, Ruthven and her followers set up a small shelter in downtown Columbia, then added an air-conditioned mobile trailer to hold adoption events at local stores. In response, former followers and estranged family members began blogging about their experience with Ruthven. The Facebook page called Is There a Cult in Columbia, Tennessee? Struck a nerve. The two groups have feuded mostly online for the past few years, and though their conflict flared up at times, it went mostly unnoticed. Until July, that is, when Rachel Gunderson shared her story with the X-Files. a podcast produced by a group called Life After God, which led to more social media attention. Michelle Breedlove, who adopted a second kitten from Eva's Eden in early July, says she heard about some of the controversy online, but it probably wouldn't stop her from getting another kitten from them in the future. Listen, if you're supplying the goods, you know.
Right, like, for real.
You know.
You got what I need, so I think that's about it.
The group's volunteers seemed kind, she says, and the cats she adopted were well cared for. She liked that the cats lived in a foster home rather than in cages, and none of the volunteers ever mentioned any kind of religious beliefs. If there's no one being hurt and they're just being odd, that's okay, she says. There are oddballs everywhere.
She's not wrong, honestly.
She's not wrong. When contacted for an interview about their religious beliefs, shelter manager Nicole Walker said in an email that she would have to contact the FBI, the local sheriff, and their lawyer before commenting. Eva's Eden had been harassed in the past, she said, and was considering legal action against her critics. Thank you for your understanding, she emailed on August 11th. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. The next day, Eva's Eden pulled its Facebook page and shuttered the website. Georgia Snow, the group's treasurer, says she didn't know if the cat rescues would continue. Snow, who is also Ruth Benn's mother, says she was fed up with the criticism of her daughter. Maybe we are tired of the persecution, she says, because it's all a bunch of lies and not true. Snow says her daughter is no longer a pastor and that her church no longer exists. All they want to do now is rescue cats. We do nothing but good, she says, and yet we have people who try to destroy that. Mary Gunderson says that the cat rescue is fine with her. The cats at Eva's Eden are well cared for, she says, and many would have been euthanized if the shelter hadn't rescued them. But being nice to cats doesn't wash away her ex-pastor's sins. You pour out all this care and love to those animals when they are adopted. They become a blessing to their family, Gunderson says. That doesn't erase the years and years of spiritual abuse. And that's it. That's the Doomsday Cat Cult.
You know, I can have a lot of understanding. Doomsday, duh, we never know. Cats, of course. And you know, I think people both seeking like spiritual, religious, culty type stuff, whatever genre you're in, I think they're just really lonely.
A lot of people usually are, I feel like, that get into things like this. I feel like they just want other people they can connect with on a spiritual level in some way, shape, or form. And if it's through... if it's through, you know, connecting through, like, taking care of cats and things like that, you know, like, that's probably great for them. They probably love that. You know, they get to take care of these wonderful animals, and they get to connect with these other people, and that's great.
And that's, like,
you know?
the thing I think people hold on to most, not, like, the jibber-jabber this lady was spewing from her asshole.
Well, some of them did, though.
Well, yes, some of them
were
did.
very drawn in by, when it was the church and everything. Everyone was drawn in by her
vibes if she's very charismatic.
Personality.
Like yes.
It was the personality she had. She knew how to carry herself and how to talk and how to get people to like her.
And that gives me that these people are needing connection. They're very a bit self-conscious and have some sort of parent wound. Because they don't...
Some sort of parent wound.
Because
Mommy
just
or daddy
coming from
issues.
like a little
Maybe
therapist point of view.
We got one or the other or both going on.
Yeah.
It's no doubt about it.
Where you just need someone to look up to in that way. And I get that. It's just you're connecting to not the greatest of an individual.
Exactly. So, Chaos and Cats Sanctuary Cult coming soon.
Fuck yes. You're putting that name on your barn.
Mm-hmm. Chaos and Cats Sanctuary Barn. Some shit like that. It's gonna be right there. It's coming soon. We're adding cats to the cult, folks.
Woohoo!
We're adding cats to the cult.
We knew it was bound to happen.
It was coming. It was inevitable. Honestly, they were probably already there. We just hadn't gotten there yet ourselves.
Yes, because, like, we have our own cats in our cult, but now we're going to be, you know,
now we're
other
expanding
people.
that.
Yes.
We're expanding that to stray cats and, like, you know, just cats that we're adopting and taking care of, we're fostering, you know, we're gonna do all these things.
Above.
Yeah. It'll be great. It'll be great.
Can't wait.
Alright, so, Laura, what do you got for us today?
I will tell you in a minute if we could take a hot minute break so I can go get more marijuanas.
I don't know, folks. I don't know.
What are we thinking? What's the vote right here?
Children? Are there any children around?
Children.
No,
Are
no
there
children around
votes?
for me to...
Are you a lefty or are you a righty? That's the true question I want to know.
Oh, yes. Yeah, you're good. Oh!
Henry has an obsession with plastic bags, as many cats do. His is playing with them, eating them, and also taking...
You know, we all have our thing.
We all have our thing.
We all have our thing.
We do. I just, you know, it's like a little cat fort, I guess.
Yeah, Rudo has a thing for eating plastic, so. Plastic and tape. She fucking loves it, man.
I haven't seen tape. I think I've traumatized at least Harley a little bit with tape because I would put double-sided tape on our furniture to stop her from clawing.
That never stopped our cat.
She would freak out. She would freak out while it's on there. And then once it inevitably dried up and fell off, she would just go back to it, so. But
sounds about right.
Freaked her out for a hot second.
Freaked her out for a minute there, though, you know, something. But speaking of our little barn sanctuary, we already have been letting cats go into the barn.
Well, I know you guys have some underneath that, right?
Well, there's that, but there's also, there's this opening at the back of the barn. We're pretty sure it used to be a door, but they, like, covered it with wood.
Okay.
So Nick basically opened a hole at the bottom, and we put a little flap there, so the cats can come in and get out of the weather and get their food. So we've been doing that for
cats
them.
and raccoons and possums.
So far, just cats, but
yeah, you never know.
I don't think we'll get any raccoons or possums until spring because where we are, we have a lot more snow.
True.
So I think they're actually out there hibernating out here. So, they're not. I haven't seen any around yet. So
good, but I just give it time.
Yeah, no. Spring, summer, I'm expecting some extra little guests to be popping into our barn.
And honestly, when my dad, we would feed the cat. He was an outdoor cat, and so we'd feed him outside. We'd have to put out 2 other dishes, one for a possum and one for a raccoon, and they'd all just sit there and eat food. So it's like, they'll be fine together.
As long as, the rule of thumb is, as long as nobody starts a fight, you're welcome to be here.
Yeah, you gotta put that sign up so they know.
No fighting. As long as you ain't fighting, you're allowed to be here. Because Nick and I were talking about that, like, you know, that there's the inevitability that other creatures are going to come, and that's fine.
The skinwalkers, of course.
And I told him, I was like, we're not... Yeah. I was like, it's fine as long as we don't allow any fighting. If one starts a fight, we're kicking it out. Like, we're taking the fucking broom and beating its ass out the door because you're not going to be in here if you're starting a fucking fight. Like, I was like, but we're just going to have to make sure we're paying attention and we're monitoring it. Because, like, eventually we'll get a little camera to keep out there.
Yeah, I was thinking that, too. Figured you'd go that route so you could make sure everything's all good. And see which ones are the instigators.
Well, also because I'm going to want to see them when they're in there, too,
That's
you know?
That's true. The cuteness.
Oh, yeah, when the spring comes, we're going to clean up that back wall, because it's just like a bunch of wood out there. So we got to get all that cleaned up, and then we'll put some stuff out for them to be able to, like, lay on and everything.
They're going to love it. I'm excited to see.
Yeah.
You're doing so many cool projects.
Yeah.
I don't know where you get the energy. You just do it anyways.
Exactly. I mean, we gotta do stuff. We got something to do. It just end up being the fun ones that we're gonna end up doing. So like, no, we gotta actually do the serious ones first.
It's your life. Do whatever you want.
That's what I'm saying.
At this point.
We can do whatever project we want. Alright, Laura. Regale us a tale of whatever this topic is. What is your topic, Laura?
Today we are talking about, and Mark gets home around 3:30 and we'll be taking Chloe for a walk, so he might interrupt us. Maybe, depends on how long this is. But today we are telling the tale of how the vibrator came to be. Yes. And it starts with saying, in the 19th century Britain, women suffering from chronic anxiety prescribed pelvic finger massage. Doctors found this tedious and time-consuming, so they invented something to do the job for
my
them.
poor fingers are tired.
For real. For real.
A woman wouldn't say that.
Do you know how my neck feels
A
sometimes?
lesbian wouldn't say that.
Get it together. I know we're all frozen. I don't know who heard that.
I didn't hear any of what you said. You froze up a little bit. You frozen.
Maybe you'll hear it in the recording. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Now you're back.
But such was the media excitement inspired by the appearance of a vibrator in the late 1990s episode of Sex and the City, one might have thought this device had only been just invented. Any misapprehension is about to be corrected by a new film, Hysteria, which I don't know. But it tells the true story of the vibrator's inception. Described by its producers as a merchant ivory film with comedy, Hysteria's humor derives chiefly from the surprise of its subject's origins, blah blah blah. The vibrator was, in fact, invented by respectable Victorian doctors who grew tired of bringing female patients to orgasm, using their fingers alone, and so dreamt up a device to do the job for them. This invention was regarded as a reputable medical instrument, no more improper than a stethoscope, but became wildly popular among Victorian and Edwardian gentlewomen who soon began buying vibrators for themselves. For its early customers, a vibrator was nothing to be embarrassed about, unlike it's probably safe to assume many members of the film's contemporary audience, not to mention some of its stars. It says, in the 19th century Britain, the condition known as hysteria, which the vibrator was invented to treat, was not a source of embarrassment at all. Hysteria's symptoms included a chronic anxiety, irritability, and abdominal heaviness.
You just need a orgasm, it's fine.
For real. And early medical explanations were inclined to blame some or other fault in the uterus. Of course, it is our fault.
Of course it's our fault.
That we're hysterical. Go figure. I feel that way now. But in fact, these women were suffering from straightforward sexual frustration. I do understand that hysteria has been known more closely related to, like, super anxiety, but this one is like, I think it seems a little bit of everything's going on for these women right now.
Yeah.
And by the mid-19th century, the problem had reached epidemic proportions, said to
epidemic
proportions, said to affect up to 75% of the female population. Yet because the very idea of female sexual arousal was prescribed in Victorian times, the condition was classed as non-sexual. It followed, therefore, that its cure would likewise be regarded as medical rather than sexual. The only...
because you weren't allowed to masturbate. That's wrong.
Exactly.
That's fucked up. That's disgusting.
And the fact that these women were just, like, repeat customers, one might say, because their
because their fucking doctor was willing to fucking diddle them till they came, unlike their goddamn piece of shit husbands.
Because it's too much work.
You mean you're willing to finger me and I just gotta... I don't know if there was medical bills. I don't know how much it costs to get fingered by your doctor at the time, but...
it was probably worth it.
Yeah.
I mean, people pay for that now, you could say.
I mean, yeah, and it's acceptable to do that, but, you know, as a woman back then, to go and pay, like, a sex worker to do that? No, that would be, like... So, but your doctor's willing to do it?
It's like going to the chiropractor. Like...
Fantastic.
Exactly. The only consistently effective remedy was a treatment that had been practiced by physicians for centuries, consisting of a pelvic massage performed manually until the patient reached a hysterical paroxysm, don't know if I'm saying that right, after which she appeared miraculously restored.
Basically, he fingered her and she orgasmed.
Yeah,
there you go.
And then, you got actual happy chemicals in your body, and now you're good to go.
Yep.
The pelvic massage was a highly lucrative staple of many medical practices in a 19th century London, with repeat business all but guaranteed. There is no evidence of any doctor taking pleasure from its provision. On the contrary, according to medical journals, most complained that it was tedious, time-consuming, and physically tiring. This being the Victorian age of invention, the solution was obvious: devise a labor-saving device that would get the job done quicker.
I mean, fair.
Yeah. There were experiments in the 19th century with a wind-up vibrator, but it proved to be underpowered, with an unfortunate tendency to run down before finishing the job. A French pelvic...
I know what that's like.
Aww.
Doesn't like the battery dying right
like,
there, right
come
at the
on.
end.
Except you won't. A French pelvic douche appeared in the 1860s, which fired a jet of water at the clitoris and was claimed to induce paroxysm within 4 minutes. And by the mid-1870s, a steam-powered manipulator, quote-unquote, had been invented, consisting of a table with a cut-out area for the patient's pelvis, to which a vibrating sphere was then applied. But both machines were complicated and cumbersome, and they were soon supplanted by the world's first ever electromechanical vibrator, complete with detachable vibratodes, patented in the early 1880s by a London physician, Dr. J. Mortimer Granville.
Okay.
It predated the invention of the electric iron and the vacuum cleaner by a good decade.
We got vibrators before irons and fucking vacuum cleaners.
Hell yeah! Irons, fuck
they
that
were
shit,
so
first
sick of fingering women.
They're like,
that they would rather invent a fucking vibrator before anything else. That's fantastic.
It is fantastic, honestly. It's so funny.
It is. It is very fantastic.
At first being powered by a generator the size of a fridge, the device was installed only in doctors' surgeries and installed only in doctors' surgeries, yes, and operated by medics. But domestic...
God, imagine you're one of the usuals, okay? And you go in, I don't know how often, once a month, once a week,
who
however
knows?
fucking often you're going in, and you're getting your fucking pelvic
Shit
floor
rocked.
massage,
Yeah.
okay? And then one day you come in and you're fucking sat down on the table, legs spread more than likely out, ready to go, okay? And they come in with this big old machine and they're like, I got something new that we're gonna do for you today. A little bit different than the pelvic floor massage you've been getting. This machine here will send some vibrations through you and get the job done. And then the euphoria that has been unlocked. Because you're like, oh, this is even better than you fucking massaging my pelvic floor for fucking 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Me looking around the room trying to think of anything other than you.
Yeah.
Like, this gets the job done.
Yeah, like, put me in a room, leave me alone.
I can only imagine that your customer is coming back even more often.
For
oh no,
real.
I think I'm suffering from hysteria even more now.
Actually,
I need to up my treatments, doc.
It's working so well, I just might as well double the dose, right?
Yeah, I'd like to double the dose. That's fantastic.
Oh goodness. But I cannot believe the generator was the size of a fridge.
Dude, for real, that's fucking insane.
And also, what's the noise that puts out? You turn it on and it's the whole thing is just vibrating. The fridge, the device, the whole room, the whole fucking hospital at this point. Goddamn.
Literally.
It does say here domestic electric electrification soon
Electrification.
brought smaller, more portable consumer versions resembling hair dryers, and by the turn of the century, more than 50 varieties were on sale. One manufacturer even offered a vibrator attachment for a home motor that could double up by driving a sewing machine. Okay. It's a lot to focus on at one point.
Yeah, that's a lot
Sewing,
of work to...
And...
I gotta push the pedal on my sewing machine to get my vibrator to go?
Come on! For the next 20 or so years, the vibrator, or massager, as it was known, enjoyed highly respectable popularity, advertised alongside other innocuous domestic appliances in the genteel pages of magazines such as Women's Home Companion, beneath slogans describing them as such delightful companions and promising all the pleasure of youth will throb within you. Okay, that was thrown in there. I didn't know anything. I love it. All the pleasure of youth will throb within you. What a slogan is that? You know, whoever wrote that was like, beautiful. I'm here for it. In 1909, Good Housekeeping published a tried and tested review of different models, while an advert in a 1906 issue of Women's Own assured readers it can be applied more rapidly, uniformly, and deeply than by hand, and for as long a period as may be desired. Did women really not know what they were buying, despite the lack of evidence to suggest otherwise? It seems unlikely. And the manufacturers surely knew what they were selling. Some of the language of the early 20th century ads is heavy with unmistakable innuendos of boosting of its wares, thrilling, invigorating, penetrating, revitalizing vibrations. That is a fucking mouthful.
That was a mouthful.
Yet almost no one ever referred to the hysterical paroxysm as an orgasm, for how could it be?
No. A woman orgasm?
Are you kidding
No.
me? Disgusting.
Unheard of.
Oh, it says, it was taken for granted by Victorian England that, in the absence of penetration, nothing sexual could possibly be taking place. A discreet veil of medical decorum survived until the late 1920s, when the appearance of vibrators in early porn films rendered the pretense untenable, and the vibrators promptly disappeared from public view.
Using them, so
now we can't do
we have
anything.
To make them a bad thing.
Why is that always the case? Like, that's ridiculous.
Yep. Can I help you?
But it says, but in the past 15 years, the vibrator has undergone something of a renaissance. It began with the invention of the rampant rabbit in the mid-1990s, a model that features a clitoral stimulator and was popularized by its appearance in Sex and the City storyline in 1998.
Mm-hmm.
They sold 1 million in 12 months. And annual sales in the UK continue to outstrip those of washing machines and tumble dryers combined. That's hilarious.
That's so funny.
It just continues to talk about some films that I just don't care about. But I do want to go back to one of the other articles I had was honestly a little different.
Okay.
Sorry, I half deleted it. I had to find out how to put it back. Because this one talks about, from what I was reading anyways, was like...
Yes, we're still here. Jesus.
She's trying to kick us off.
Yeah, it's like, are you still here?
Like, bitch, yes. We just talk a lot, okay? I mean, I don't remember.
Literally nothing like being called out by our own recording platform.
Bro. We're here to record, alright? You'd expect it to be here for a hot minute. A lot of this is the same, but it was talking about how, you know, people would use vibrators or whatever you would call them back in the day anywhere on your feet, on your hands, on your back, on your
neck.
It's a
body massager.
Exactly.
And you just so happen to maybe move it down to a certain area.
Oh,
you
girl.
know?
Oh, girl.
You gotta massage your pelvic floor, your pelvic area.
It's important, you know? I was trying to say what it said, but I think it was said that, like, men used it just as often as women.
Yeah. Everyone used it. Everyone used them.
Without sexual
Men enjoyed
intent.
them too. They can sit there and they can try to play all innocent all they want, but listen.
But it does
they
say
were
that
doing it.
This is the section I was looking for. It says vibrators made housework easier by soothing the pains of tired housewives, calming the cries of sick children, and invigorating the bodies of modern working men. They were applied to tired backs and sore feet, but also the throat to cure laryngitis, the nose to relieve sinus pressure, and everything in between. Vibration promised to calm the stomachs of colicky babies and to stimulate hair growth in balding men. It was even thought to help heal broken bones. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm-hmm. That sounds like, could you imagine breaking a bone and they're like, we're just gonna vibrate this real quick.
Well, if you think about it, cats do that. Cats vibrate themselves.
Yes.
Cats do a frequency of vibration to heal themselves.
Well, yeah, but
so
it's a bone,
it makes sense.
Ouch.
Yeah, no, they've literally done science to prove that the frequency at which cats vibrate can help heal broken bones.
I guess I'm just picturing it as, like, the hairdryer vibrator and then just being like, here, let me put this on your broken shin. That hurts when my shin isn't fucking broken, okay? Let alone when it is. So
funny.
I get it if it's more of, like, a full body, here, lay on this thing that vibrates. That might feel a little bit less, jarring.
Right.
But I think I was just picturing it a little differently. But I have heard about the whole cat purring healing aspects of it.
Did you look up what this thing looks like? What the first vibrator looks like?
No, but this is the hairdryer one?
Yeah, that's what I got here. The hairdryer one, and interesting.
But I do want to look up the one that looks like a refrigerator. First vibrator.
That's what I looked up, was the first vibrator. What did the first vibrator look like? And this is the hairdryer one came up.
I know, but I want to find the one that's like attached to a fucking refrigerator. That's the first one, technically.
I'm aware.
But boy, am I not finding it.
I told you, it doesn't come up.
I see this one. But, so if anybody has and is able to find the picture of the first vibrator invented attached to a refrigerator-sized generator, that would be dandy. Wild shit for posters happening. Just a poster of them talking about pelvic massage, and a woman's just standing there with her dress up, and a man has his whole arm stuck under her. I wonder if you've ever seen like a old school vibrator at like a antique shop or a thrift shop, and you just didn't know.
Could you imagine?
You just didn't know. Because
I'm gonna start keeping my eye out for one when I'm out antiquing and shit. Just see if I can come across one.
They just look like they're anything but at this point.
But now that I know what it looks like, I'm gonna be looking for one.
This is hilarious. Honestly, same. That's gonna be our new hole. thing. I just need to find it now. So, that is what I've got for you today. Because I saw a little clip on it and I was like, ooh, that's a cool thing. Let's do that.
I like it. I like it. I like it.
And now, obviously, like, sex toys and vibrators are a little, like, taboo and all that. I think that's obviously getting less and less as, you know, years go on. Yeah. But the fact that it went from, like, totally normal in the 1920s to, like, boom, nobody fucking talk about it because the fucking prostitutes are using it.
Literally, because the fucking
the
whores,
sex workers,
the
right?
sex workers, and
disgusting.
The whores.
How dare you do something even though we're also buying it? What?
Literally,
what?
It's like, who fucking cares?
You're using their services, but you hate them. Okay, got it. Got it.
I don't get it.
I
don't get it. I
is
really
there.
don't. The connection is not connecting properly. The connection is a little off.
A little off.
Have you tried turning it off and on again? Because it's not really working for me. Okay.
No.
Okay. I think you need to relook at this.
It needs a goddamn update is what it needs.
Oh my gosh. Alright, well I think that's it. I think we're calling it there. If you want to hit us up, question, comments, concerns, cat stories, hit us up at our email, which is chaosandcatspodcast@gmail.com. You can also hit us up on our Facebook, Instagram, I would say TikTok, which is
we're not quite there yet. I was thinking about working on that today.
TikTok, but you can still go to it. But you know, TikTok, it's all
YouTube,
Chaos and Cats
all of it.
Pod. YouTube is at Chaos and Cats Podcast. It's we got our Instagrams linked. It's all down below. It's all in the descriptions of the episode. Laura froze, but that's okay because we're just ending the episode. So I'm gonna keep ending the episode. Oh, there she is. She's back. But that's it. You know what? All right.
Bye.
Goodbye.